Hello everyone, I'm back. So let's begin. Before I begin, of course, in Auckland we're back at level 3, and the rest of Aotearoa, New Zealand, is at level 2. They found a case of of a family having contracting the disease, of course. So we're on lockdown again. So it's sad because my husband and I were supposed to visit Wellington and the rest of the North Island, since we live in the North Island. Well, I live in Auckland. Auckland is in the North Island. So we're not going anywhere. So basically, I told myself, since we're not, well, before I say this, they did say that we have 3 days. So it started yesterday, which was Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and at the end of Friday, at the end of at noon on Friday. I don't know, but on Friday, Jacinta Arden is going to talk to us and tell us if we are staying on level 3 for a couple more weeks, or if we go to level 4, or if everything is okay and we can go back down to level 1. But yeah, it kind of sucks though, because I really was excited to visit the capital, Wellington, and just exploring more of the North Island of Aotearoa, right? So I told myself, since this is not happening, I'm just going to talk about 3 things I really love about living in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And as I talk, I think it's also good for people who actually want to just visit the country. It's a beautiful country to visit, and I hope the 3 things I will say is going to make you excited if you want to come and visit. Well, I don't think it's going to happen this year, maybe next year if you decide, well, if you want to come visit the country. I hope you're going to listen to what I have to say, and you're going to be like, oh, I want to visit the country, right? Or, for the people who wants to live, of course. So, number 1. The first thing I love about Aotearoa, New Zealand is nature, the scenery. Everything is just breathtaking. So we live in the North Island. So in the North Island, it's kind of warmer. It's a bit more warmer than in the South Island, but in the North Island, basically, what I found beautiful is how green everything is, especially in the wintertime. Because in the wintertime, which we are in right now, in the wintertime it rains a lot. So when it rains a lot, I mean, you just look at the grass, everything's green. I mean, just in Auckland, you're driving through Auckland and you see, I don't know, you're in the motorway or the highway, wherever you're in, how you say it. So there's more, or you always say motorway, highway in America and Canada, whatever. When you just drive through the motorway, basically, and then you see from afar, you see, I don't know, the water, and then you see the water, and you see the grass, and it's green, especially during the winter time, right? And but we've had kind of a dry winter. I mean, it kind of rained a lot this year, but compared to last year, it was raining a lot. Basically, it was raining non-stop, so it was just green. Everything was green, and we can even go further. I mean, there's lots of places to walk. I mean, um, one of the things that you're going to enjoy, as I say, is in this country, is the scenery. They have lots of places where you can walk around, where you can just go in the forest and just see the trees and see the palm trees, and it's just beautiful. And what I also like about Aotearoa, when we talk about nature and the scenery, for example, is the fact that when you get to an area where you have to walk, where you get to a reserve, for example, or and you just want to walk around, you have to clean your shoes. So you'll walk, and there's always going to be like a place where they'll say, please clean your shoes. Make sure there's no, There's no dirt that you bring in the forest, for example, and you just clean and you go in and you walk, and it's so nice because the one thing I like about it is there's no predators, right? So there's nothing venomous. There's nothing, there's no bears, there's no wolves. So when you walk in the forest, the chance of you getting attacked by those big dangerous animals in this country is basically none, right? Um, it's just you walk, everything's so nice. Even camping, I mean, um, well, I haven't done any camping in the forest in Aotearoa basically, but I remember when I was in Canada and we used to do camping, I was always scared. I always told myself, oh my God, are we gonna get attacked by bears? It doesn't happen, but I was always super scared, right? But I repeat myself over here, when you can go camping and there's nothing that will want to kill you. Unless you're scared of birds, because there's lots of birds. My favorite bird in Aotearoa, New Zealand is the tui. I mean, the sound it makes is it's like a music. I think you have to come to really understand why I say the tui has the most beautiful. Well, for me, makes one of the most beautiful sound. So yeah, I think that's number one, basically, just nature. And then if you go to South Island, so we went to South Island last year with my husband, and we went. I think it was the beginning of no, it was like the end of winter, going into spring, basically. And yeah, it's like you drive, and then when you drive in the South Island, because we landed in Queenstown, and when you arrive in the South Island and you drive, it's the big mountains, just the big mountains with no snow on top. And again, it's one of those things that you really have to see to understand why it's beautiful. It's just breathtaking, and the lakes, and just the scenery. It's kind of desolate, right? I mean, there's nothing. It's like it's not really greener in the South Island, um, but it's still very beautiful. Um, yeah, so that is the number one. That's number one. The one thing, the first thing I like is nature, scenery. If you want to come to this country and you want to walk around, you are going to be happy with what you see, with the scenery and with nature, because it's a very nature kind of country, right? It's breathtaking. Number two, the second thing I love about living in Aotearoa, New Zealand, is the seasons, the weather. Ah. So I was born in Lubumbashi, and Lubumbashi is a subtropical weather. And when I was living in South Africa, in Johannesburg, again was subtropical weather, right? So now that I'm back, I'm in Auckland. I live in Auckland basically, and it's again subtropical weather. For me, it is just for me. I mean, I was born in that kind of weather, so maybe I'm biased. But for me, I think this subtropical is the best weather because it's never too hot and it's never too cold, basically. So even during the winter time, I mean, there's four seasons in New Zealand, basically, now Aotearoa, New Zealand. And when you compare the wintertime in Aotearoa and you compare it to wintertime in Canada, I mean, Canada is cold. It's so cold. But over here, I mean, it's as I said, when I was saying before, I mean, when it's raining and it rains a lot, so the grass is green, there's the palm trees. So yeah, and then and if you live in Aotearoa, if you come and visit, or if you decide to live, you're going to see that the seasons are completely different. So basically, in Canada, summertime, if I remember, is, oh my God, June, July, August. Then there's autumn, which is how am I forgetting, right? Yeah, so it's just around. So you summer is during the June, July, and August, right? Months. But over here, so I'm just gonna take my computer so I don't make a mistake, because as you can see, I totally forgot about Canada's weather and how it works. But in New Zealand, in Aotearoa, New Zealand, so spring is September, October, November, which is autumn if you live in Canada or if you live in the northern hemisphere, basically. So Europe, America. I don't know about Japan, China, I'm not sure, but if you live in the northern hemisphere, spring, which over here is September, October, November, it will be autumn in the northern hemisphere. So I'm gonna make things easier. So spring is September, October, November. Summer is December, January, February. Autumn is March, April, May, and winter is June, July, and August. So, as I said, winter time of year is just good. I mean, I don't have to wear, a big coat. I can wear, nice pants with shorts. It does get chilly. I'm not gonna lie, it does get chilly. I mean, sometimes you do get a night where it's like 7 degrees, 6 degrees. So it does get chilly, honestly, but it's something I've known. So for me, it's like nothing really new. I mean, where I was born in Lubumbashi, it's a little bit hotter, basically, and I think it's a little bit hotter. It's a little bit hotter in Johannesburg too. But yeah, it's just it's not too cold during the winter time, and the summertime also the same thing. I mean, it's not too hot. So basically, we barely have 30 degrees here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So it's not too extreme. So you don't get like 30 plus humidity where you're not sweating because it's super hot. Over here, it's a pleasant summer. It's for me again, it's a good summer because I think it depends on the person basically. I mean, some people might not like this kind of weather, right? But I enjoy the weather. And autumn and spring is just, especially spring. Spring is wonderful because flowers are growing, and there's so much smell. I mean, just not in our garden. I mean, there is there's a flower that grows, and I mean, we have flowers growing, right? And it just smells so nice. So go in the garden, and then it's like you're just like bombarded by the smell of flowers, and you see there's the lemon tree, the mandarin tree, and the orange tree that makes flowers too, and it smells so good, right? And also in the wintertime we have in our backyard, in our garden, we have, as I was saying before, a lemon tree, a mandarin tree, an orange tree, two orange trees basically. And we also have a feijoa tree, but that's like at the beginning of winter, I think. Yeah, so we do get feijoas, right? And yeah, I think that's what I like that's another thing I like about living here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. The weather is just perfect, right? The third thing I like about living in Aotearoa, New Zealand is how people are very laid back over here. It's a very kind of laid back atmosphere as soon as you arrive in the country. I mean, um, you walk around and people on it's I've been there for quite some time over here, and then you walk down the street, and people are not unnecessarily aggressive. People are just like laid back. People mind their own business. Um, Now again, I know people are gonna say just like in any other country, you have to be careful. Yeah, just like in any other country, of course, you have to be careful. There are good people and there are bad people. Like, I'm fully aware, and I don't want you guys to think I'm saying it's paradise and everything is heaven over here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that what I like is mostly the laid back, non I think I can say that it's people. It's like this not people aren't aggressive just to be aggressive. In some cases, I would say, but I mean, I was called the N word 2 times, but despite that fact, I just feel that there is still a laid back kind of mentality of here that I really enjoy. Um, I haven't had any problems with people when I'm walking down the streets, like in any other countries I've lived in. I mean, um, yeah, I think that's what I like about that laid back mentality that people have over here. Again, so one thing I will say is when people are driving, I will talk about Auckland. When people are driving in Auckland, I mean, it's a total different story. I mean, you do worry for your life, you know? It's like people drive really, fast over here, and when people go to Pack and Save, but that's just like, jokes aside. I mean, you have to live in Aotearoa to understand what I'm trying to say. Like when people go into Pack and Save, which is a grocery store, people go left and right, and like in the previous video, I was saying how people tend to become different once they go in Pack and Save, right? But yeah, so these are the three things I like about living in Aotearoa, New Zealand. If you want to visit the country at some point, I hope you are going to understand what I was trying to say. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the video, you can like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are, and bye.